说中文。
Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese. Chinese pot, Chinese pot, Chinese pot. That's the way to learn Chinese.
Hello, newbies. My name is Ken Carroll.
Hi, I'm Jenny.
And we have a lesson today. Our series of Mandarin lessons from Shanghai, China, of course.
Yes.
Because we're Chinese pod, by the way. Yeah. And we're looking at a rather wholesome, tasty edition of what, Jenny?
Of holding the MSG.
Holding the MSG. You mean literally or figuratively? Figuratively.
Both.
Oh, okay.
No,
Oh,
figuratively.
Okay. So hold it on the MSG, as in don't put any.
Don't use it.
Don't use it. Let's talk about MSG. It's such a fascinating. Would you spell it for us now, Jenny?
Spell it?
Yes.
MSG.
No, I mean the full word. You know what it stands for?
Monosodium glutamate.
There you go. I'm impressed. Monosodium glutamate. Just think about that going on your food. Yeah, monosodium glutamate. People do use it here in China.
Yes.
Unfortunately, but it's something that you may want to know how to
Avoid.
right? And so that's what this lesson is about here today. I also want to look at scripts and cultural roles and stuff like that. I think it's a really, really interesting aspect to this lesson that we can look at too.
Yes.
But let's first listen to the dialogue, because the dialogue is, again, it was for newbies, it's for newcomer.
Yeah.
We've simplified it, but this is the way that you will deal when you go to the restaurant. You want to tell people, look, keep
I
that
don't
stuff.
want any
I don't want
MSG.
any, because you'll meet resistance, and we're going to talk about why. So let's listen to it 3 times, then we'll come back and we'll translate it.
好。Dialogue first time.
请不要放味精，
好的，
一点也不要。
我知道了。
Second time.
请不要放味精，
好的，
一点也不要。
我知道了。
Third time.
请不要放味精，
好的，
一点也不要。
我知道了。
All right, then.
Translation.
I'm ready to translate if you are too.
I am.
Okay.
请不要放味精。
Please don't add any MSG.
请不要放味精。
Please don't add any MSG.
请不要放味精。好的，
Okay,
好的，
fine.
好的，一点也不要，
I don't want any at all.
一点也不要，
I don't want any at all.
一点也不要。我知道了，
I've got it.
我知道了，
I understand.
我知道了。Do they really get it?
Do they have to? All they have to do is just obey, you know.
But
Well,
that could be tricky, huh?
let's look at the language first, but I do think that this is culturally quite interesting.
Yeah.
Let's go through the language first, and then we'll try to sort of vector towards a cultural discussion or something.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's start from the top.
Yes.
请不要放味精。
Monosodium glutamate in Chinese is known as,
味精，
I was going to say known affectionately as
味精。
Wei Jing, and it's fourth tone, first tone.
Yes.
Wei Jing. No, let's finish the sentence first, and then I've
Alright.
got a question for it. To use or to put or to
Add.
Wei
Wei
Jing,
Jing.
the verb is
放，放。
fang, fourth tone, right?
Yes.
So let's hear that together to add MSG.
放味精，放味精。
Now, be careful if you're practicing this, right? In the restaurant, you're walking around saying, Fang Wei Jing, Fang Wei Jing. They'll load it up and you'll suffer. And of course, the verb to please. Please, as in when you're making a request.
请，请。
Qing, third tone.
That's right.
Yeah. And don't, the expression for don't is
不要，不要。
不要, don't. Now, let's take it from a backline build-up. Let's start again. So, MSG is?
味精味精
To add MSG is?
放味精放味精
Don't add MSG.
不要放味精不要放味精
And the whole thing, please don't add any MSG is?
请不要放味精
Okay. So please don't add any. Tell us just briefly about Chinese attitudes to MSG, because people are, people are confused about it. I mean, there's millions of people want to know.
When we didn't know better or didn't have any healthier alternatives, if there was such a thing,
Yeah.
we rely a lot on MSG to make our food more flavorsome.
Any idea when it started, MSG? How long has it been around?
I have to read the encyclopedia first.
Okay. It's a really interesting question.
Yeah, how it started in China.
I don't know too.
But I've noticed there's a big movement against MSG in China, at least in some of the bigger cities. A lot of the restaurants as well as families stop using it.
Families stop using it.
And we instead use something called chicken essence, which
That's a lot
might
better.
not be any better.
This stuff is a caustic. It just it
Yeah.
actually burns through the layers on your tongue and stuff like that. And we don't need to go into any more detail. But believe me, it's MSG is
Yeah. But the
nasty.
Chinese word is interesting. 味精
Yeah, what does it mean?
literally means flavor essence.
Flavor essence, which is absolutely not the case. And in fact, I think I'm not a chemist here, as you know. Did you know that? I'm not a chemist.
I just found that out.
The thing is, it doesn't actually really affect the food. It affects, I think, your taste, your
Yeah.
tongue or something. It's very chemical, very, very
Yeah.
chemical.
Welcome back to another installment of Chinese Pod Trivia. And the question for you is, for what test does Chinese Pod offer preparation services for? Is it A, the polygraph, B, the colonoscopy, C, the HSK test, or D, the CAT scan?
The CAT scan?
Ooh, sorry, that is incorrect. The correct answer is C, the HSK test. That's right, Chinese Pod will thoroughly prepare you to pass this rigorous test of proficiency in Chinese. ChinesePod.com/HSK.
So let's hear that incredibly important sentence. If you think it's important, let's hear it again. Please don't add any MSG.
请不要放味精
All right. Now, as ever, the waiter or the cook or whoever will definitely verbalize an agreement, that's for sure.
Yes.
And in this case, it was
好的好的
好的. That's an all-purpose
Yes.
way to agree.
Agreeable expression.
Now, that's one thing you can walk around the place going, 好的,好的,好的,好的. And people will think, wow, that's a very agreeable foreigner over there. You know?
And you might be able to fool yourself.
You might, everything's great. Everything's 好的. Now, I want to touch on a subject here, and it's kind of interesting because in my experience in China, people, in roles, they're almost scripted.
Yes.
Yeah? And when you get like a waiter or you get a chef or you get, when you go to get your hair cut or even or something like that, they tend to have been trained to do something and they're not very comfortable with changing the pattern.
No, they're
Right?
not.
They're not. They just find it difficult. They think you're odd. Well, they always think we're odd anyway.
Or they don't
We are
think they're
odd.
doing their job.
Yeah, or they think they're failing to live
Yeah.
up to it. And so you'll often get resistance to something like this. Now, the guy might say, 好的,好的, but he'll have to 放味精 because that's what he's been
That's
told
how,
to do.
how cooking is done, right?
That's right.
So you always want to stress, reiterate,
You have
make
to.
yourself very clear.
Politely, of course, But it's like, no, let me sort of emphasize in a polite way. I really don't want any. So how did we emphasize that?
一点也不要，一点也不要。
Now, we have the expression 不要, meaning
Yes,
do not
do
want,
not.
right? Do not want. And the expression 一点 means
A little bit.
a little bit. The next word is yeah,
Yeah.
third tone. And that is,
For emphasis and linking purpose.
yes, it means kind of like even in this sense.
Yeah.
So, 一点也不要 means a little bit, even, do not want. Not even a little bit, let's put it
Yes.
that way. Now, if you said that in English, not even a little bit, it would kind of sound slightly aggressive. But in 一点也不要 means don't add any, not even a little bit. Just, hold on the MSG, basically. That's a polite way to emphasize that, you're serious about this. Because quite often what they'll do, in my experience, you'll say, don't put any Wei Jing. And I said, okay. And they'll actually put a little bit in. Because that's what I'm saying, it's the script. So, yeah, you could change the amount, but the script says that you put the MSG,
have to put.
so you do it. There you go. Interesting. Now, here we have the chap. Or
Another verbalized communication.
I'm not is.
我知道了,我知道了.
我知道了. Literally meaning,
I got it.
I know it. Right. I know it. I got it. Huh. 我知道了. Great expression. I won't take it apart because I don't think it's a good idea. 我知道了 means I have the idea. I'm with you. I understand.
Yes.
And it can be used in a bazillion scenarios. Yeah. All right. Let's listen to that 3 more times, shall we?
好. Dialogue first time.
请不要放味精，
好的，
一点也不要。
我知道了。
Second time.
请不要放味精，
好的，
一点也不要。
我知道了。
Third time.
请不要放味精，
好的，
一点也不要。
我知道了。
Okay. Now, let me ask you, Miss, what are your thoughts on MSG?
I haven't tasted MSG in 10 years.
You haven't? Really? How do you know? I mean, you go to restaurants, they sometimes use it, don't they? Or
Oh,
not?
that's true.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking from my experience at
I've
home.
been spiking your
My
lunch.
mom, she has joined the anti-MSG movement
Has she?
very early.
I can just see her there with the banners on the street and the placards, you know. Wow.
No MSG.
No MSG. 不要味精.
I actually noticed a few of my foreign friends are allergic to MSG, and
Yeah.
I've hardly known any Chinese who are allergic to
Yeah,
MSG.
yeah,
Isn't that funny?
It is. It is. Not funny, ha ha ha, but it's funny. Yeah.
It's fascinating.
Well, it's really interesting, actually. This is very, we don't have time to really go into it, but I think culturally it's really interesting about the scripts. I find it totally interesting. I find MSG slightly less interesting, but I mean, it is kind of something that happens. And so you now have the language with which to resist.
Yes.
Resist, yeah. Fight against him. Now, in between doing all that fighting and struggling and resisting the MSG, you could go to ChinesePod.com because there you need to drop your resistance. And there you need to just go in and start learning and experiencing it and finding things that work for you and sort of, finding that stuff that works to your taste, as it were. And but right now, you know what time it is, Jenny.
We are out of here, so
I know what time it is.
再见.
再见.
As usual, ChinesePod provides an extensive selection of learning materials for this lesson on its website, www.chinesepod.com. You can access this lesson directly with the lesson number
0724.
So just go to www.chinesepod.com/0724 and you will find a transcript, vocabulary, and much more. The link again, www.chinesepod.com/0724.